Thank you for hanging around after the show. I want to present to you Tailor Made Trust, featuring Ann LaFleur's Trust Series, available at tailormadetrust.com, as well as the fearlessfloydshow.com store. Here are a handful of the available trusts that can be built, custom tailored to your needs and desires. 25 different trusts, plus the DNA trust addendum. And as always, Ann LaFleur's classic trusts and ancillary classes, and also Ann's books on trust and specialty trust, which I also co-authored. If you'd like to get a class, a book, or have a trust custom built for you, always available at the fearlessfloydshow.com store. And I'll see you in the next show. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day. And welcome to the weird Fearless Floyd show. Who the hell are you talking to, Floyd? Happy Memorial Day, everybody who celebrates holidays as a time to honor those who have fallen as a first responder or a emergency personnel or a veteran. So take a moment of silence for those who have fallen and sacrificed for the betterment of all of us here. All right. Let's get on with the show. 34 years ago, I'd be balls to the wall, full throttle, blasting off somewhere on vacation. But here I am. It's a working weekend for me, as always, and I've got a lot accomplished, and that was pretty cool. So tailormadetrusts.com, that's brand new. That is the new entity that custom builds trusts just for your needs and desires. That's it. Custom built for you, your family, your beneficiaries, your assets, however you want that done. There's 25 different trusts available. Here, let me pop this up to the screen. And this is not an all-inclusive list. As you see, here's the DNA addendum that's also attached to it. There you go. Some more. And rounding out those, there you go. And basically, that's it right there. Tailor-made trust. This is how it works, folks. Go to my website or go to tailormadetrusts.com. That's just a portal for you to email. When you email, I get your information, and part of the team, someone will contact you and get everything lined up for you, and we'll get you started. How it works is just pick a trust. It's $299, 100% refundable deposit, because if you buy a trust, you may not even have bought the right trust. So $299, 100% refundable deposit. Once you do that initial consultation, we'll figure out if you're in the right place with the right trust, or you need something more than that. I don't know. Like I said, everything's different. So when you do decide to pull that trigger and you want to get a trust custom built for you, do this for me, okay? If you know what your goals are, write them down and try to prioritize those goals the best you know how. And if you know the pathway to achieve that goal, well, write that down too. Because when it comes time for your consultation, these are specific things we need to know where you want to go before we even get into the whole story of what you've done, what you haven't done, what you know, what you don't know. So if we just know exactly where to start, because and where you want to end, we can help you get there from A to Z. So that's what we're trying to do. If we don't have any goods or services that will, meet your qualifications, $299 right back into your account. No questions asked. I'll eat all the fees for that. So that's how we're doing that. And as always, if you guys, want to take Ann's class, here's everything you need to know. We did a bunch of these classes. Everybody gets their stuff done and moves on. All I am, folks, all this platform is just a stepping stone. It's an educational tool, a place for you to learn, meet other like-minded people, and move on. People who've taken some of these classes, they've emulated me. They've opened up their own Telegram rooms, and they have their own following. They do their own, I call, category of what they're after, what their goals are. I've had other people go do their own shows on social media. So you never know what you're going to come over here and learn. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know where you're going to go. But try to get all that done, and we'll get you in the right place, because it's all about educating as many people as we can. We'd like to, give everything away for free, but there's no value in that. Most of this stuff, I'm sure, is out there somewhere. But there's a 19-part series that Ann and I did, just basically give you an introduction into trust. I know that's quite lengthy for some people to sit through. But if that's your introduction, there you go. There's some other bits and pieces, some promos Ann and I have done over time. So go check those out. Today, humans and AI, can we coexist? That's a good question, and what put me on today's show. And, I told you yesterday, man, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I could have called Noel, had him on. I probably could have had Raymond on. Raymond caught a big fish today. He finally got to the fishing hole. But I ran across an article on a bionic eye, and I was like, what? A bionic eye? Oh, really? Are we there? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And, man, I found a whole bunch of new information. I know I can't make this stuff up. Anthrobots. Artificial intelligence discovers new psychedelic molecules. Yeah, we're tripping now, huh? Right? And then not the Internet of Things, folks. It's the Internet of Bodies. I wonder what that looks like. Are we talking about bodies or bodies? I don't know. We're going to go dig in, and we're going to find out. I know that. Every day, the more and more that I read and watch and listen to regarding artificial intelligence and robotics, it's just astonishing. That's all I can say. It's astonishing. If you're really on the cutting edge of it and you see the future of what it looks like, because, most of you don't remember, but I've told you this in multiple videos. 3.5 years ago now, I worked the Walmart convention Okay. And this is how Walmart does it. For some reason, they love Houston, Texas, and thank God because they could easily be doing it in their home state. But they love the George R. Brown. And when they come here, of course, they take up the whole space. Well, that particular year, they brought in all the Walmart, I guess, employees of the month, employees of the year, but they were from Walmarts all over the country. I mean, they all had their name tags with their name, and then it said their city and their state. You know, Cleveland, Ohio, New York, Miami, Florida. You get the picture. And that was pretty much their security. And they had these people working all the ingress and egresses to check for armbands if you're, you can come in or out, all that crap. And I was like, Walmart's doing that to them. You're an employee, the whatever, and this is how they repay you. They bring you to this big seminar to work. Okay, all right. So that's not the point. The point is when I was there, I actually walked through the show at the tail end of it just to check everything out. And of course, they have the new products and then how they're going to be displayed in the store, any kind of new display styles or shelving or whatever. Okay. All the way down. And then at the not at the very end, but about in the middle. Okay, that's when I ran into all the autonomous delivery vehicles. That's when I ran into the fixed wing aircraft. Okay, it had about 8-foot wingspan. Then there was the 6 propeller drone, helicopter drone. That was pretty big, about that big. Then they had a little, it looked like a little ice chest on wheels with a antenna with a flag on top, and everybody has seen those, especially if you're on a college campus. Extremely popular there. They had one of those. Then they had another one that was, I'm going to date myself here. If you remember the coolers that sat on the front of the bicycles, they're popular down in Mexico where they sell ice cream out of, or some type of cold or hot beverage. About that size, but it was automated as well. And then next, they had a pilotless. Okay, so there was no cabin. Okay, no place for a driver. There was just nothing. And it was a van with suicide doors that opened up like this, and then there were 2 benches that faced each other. That was also automated. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I went further down on the left-hand side towards the rear. They had all the robotics. Okay. And then you went a little further, and then this is the box cutter. And then the whole process to where they could robot would go get it off the shelf, bring it over there, boom, scan the barcode, know what it was, boom, build the packaging for it, label it, and kick it out, and then the delivery vehicle pick it up and take it wherever it needs to go. All automated. And when I see this, I'm like, oh, you people are so out of a job. You don't even know it. You're walking around with a smile on your face, just happy. Yeah. And that's where it's going. So I've always kept my eye on where that's going, just because of that showed me what the future looked like. And, these menial task jobs, warehousing, don't need that anymore. Because now the whole shelf can move. Everything's automated. It gets sandwiched together and needs to move, and then something go in and get it, bring it, kick it right back out. Yeah, all designed by AI. Absolutely. So as I've been digging through all this stuff, I've been finding it's just, wild stuff. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. So here is the bionic eye part. Let me get over here to that for you guys. And when I saw this article and it said UTMB on it, I was like, what? Texas? Huh. I hadn't heard of this. So this is from April 9th, 2021. And basically, the human eye is a marvel of evolution that scientists have not been able to reproduce yet. With each generation of bionic eye, they're getting closer and closer. So there's several out here. This is the Genaris Bionic Vision System that UTMB has right here, UNTMBL, University of Texas Medical Branch at Galveston, right here. That's John Seeley Hospital. I've stayed there before. It wasn't on the public side. I was on the other side, under lock and key. It is the prisoner hospital for Texas for for this region, basically. So, yeah, been there. Actually, have had a epidural done there. All right, so that was on the bionic eye. So I went and, like I want to do, I went and dug some more. Well, where did that go, Floyd? Okay, let's go check out who these people are. And this is where they at with this, the article from November of 2024. So this is what I went and read. So I'll pop it open for you. Let's see my lag. All right. This is from November 22nd, 2024 by Nigel Pereira. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I massacred it, Nigel, I do apologize, because I got to give Nigel right here, this guy down here in your left-hand corner, quite the accolades. He is a prolific writer across many categories. I've read multiple articles, kept running across his authorship, and very impressed with his segments. So we're going to cover this one right here: Neuralink, blind sight, and Genaris Bionic Eye, the future of ophthalmology. All right. With two separate breakthrough developments that are both poised to revolutionize the world of ophthalmology, the world could soon change for people who are visually impaired or even born blind. Earlier this year, we posted an article featuring Acoustic Touch smart glasses that used spatial sounds to help the blind or vision impaired navigate around obstacles. In this post, we're going to look at two separate breakthrough developments that are both poised to revolutionize the world of ophthalmology. In one of the most iconic performances to date, American comedian and actor Chris Rock famously called out the medical industry by pointing out that with all the money in the world, Stevie Wonder still can't see and Superman still can't walk. That performance by Chris Rock was in 2001. Christopher Reeve passed away in 2004, sadly still paralyzed from the waist down. And as of November 2024, there is still no cure for people who are born blind, like Stevie Wonder. Neuralink blind sight. That all may change, however, if Elon Musk has his way. According to a recent post, a new device called Blind Sight by Neuralink may be able to restore sight in people who have lost both eyes and optic nerves, as well as in people who are born blind. In fact, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has designated this device with a breakthrough device status, signifying its potential to literally change the world for blind people. This designation is aimed at speeding up the process of fine-tuning and testing medical breakthroughs that could improve the lives of patients with debilitating or life-threatening conditions. The device works via microelectrode array implant in the visual cortex area of the brain and then activates neurons in which turn form an image in the brain. According to Elon Musk's post on X, he says that while the breakthrough is 100% going to happen, it's going to be pretty low resolution at first, a lot like the initial stages of a video game graphics, like vintage Atari, Nintendo, and Sega games. He also points out that this device would eventually give users almost superhuman sight with the ability to see even infrared, ultraviolet, and radar wavelengths that no other human can see with the naked eye. uh, it, uh, this is my part. Yeah, he'll be able to just like see through clothes, like the camera. Remember that? All right, continuing. What makes blind sight different is that, unlike other innovative retinal implants that send signals from a camera to electrodes that go directly to retinal nerves, blind sight is a brain implant that goes directly in the visual cortex area of the brain. That's why, unlike retinal implants, which don't work on people who are born blind, blind sight will. Next up is Generis Bionic Eye. Another breakthrough innovation that bypasses damaged optic nerves and sends signals directly to the brain's vision center is the Generis Bionic Eye, a culmination of over a decade of research and development. Also referred to as the Generis Bionic Vision System, this bionic eye has been developed by researchers at the Monash University of Australia in collaboration with Alfred Health. The Generis Bionic Eye consists of a powerful mini camera that's mounted on custom headgear that records your surroundings and transmits it to a wireless brain implant. Unlike Neuralink blind sight that works on a microelectrode array implant, the Generis Bionic Eye uses multiple, up to 11, tiny 9 millimeter implants that can be positioned on the brain's surface in order to stimulate particular parts of the brain. When placed on the visual cortex, these implants allow the user to see and distinguish between basic shapes and outlines in order to navigate around obstacles. Additionally, while previous flat sensor technologies offer a 70-degree field of view, the Generis Bionic Eye, in an effort to mimic the human eye's natural structure and 130-degree field of view, offers a 100-degree field of view. There is also an onboard visual processing unit as well as state-of-the-art nanowires, which are much more responsive and able to process and transmit images in real time without any lag. Over a decade of research and successful trials on animals like sheep with minimum negative effects, the Generis Bionic Eye is about to start human trials in Melbourne, Australia, solving both problems. What's interesting about Neuralink is that it seems to simultaneously be trying to solve both problems that Chris Rock called the medical community out about in his iconic performance. In addition to helping people like Stevie Wonder see again, Neuralink is also simultaneously working on brain and spinal implants that can help people like Christopher Reeve, Superman, walk again. Well, sadly, he's not here to make that happen, but people like Christopher Reeve in his former self, they have also had success with helping paraplegics control computers with just their mind, but we'll save that for another post. In conclusion, we can only hope that technology improves to a point where people who are born blind and have never seen the world as we do can someday gain their vision, even if the graphics are a bit old school at first. So that is what took me on this journey. And I kept discovering more and more and more articles like that. Let's see. And here, we'll go to this one. I'll just go right down the list here. 24 minutes. All right. And again, this is by Nigel Pereira. Tiny robots made from human cells can heal wounds. And these are the Anthrobots. While these Anthrobots are about 30 to 500 micrometers in size and are made from cells from the human trachea, the applications could be endless, from neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis to irreversible retina damage and beyond. Well, I know somebody has MS, don't we? Y'all know him too. All right, to be clear, the robots we're about to talk about in this post are biological and do not contain any mechanical parts, chips, or batteries. And I'm going to input right here, which means no genetically modified organisms, GMOs, or complementary DNA, or as it's also known, synthetic DNA. So remember these terms as I repeat them over and over in my videos because they're very important. Trust me, you'll thank me later. All right, so 100% biological and definitely not a GMO. That being said, however, they do act a bit like robots. They are completely independent and are made from clumps of biological cells. Why are they called robots then? Well, it all started when scientist Michael Levin claimed he had created biological robots from the cells of an African clawed frog and claimed these robots were a new type of organism. He then backed up that claim by showing the world that these xenobots, named after the frog's Latin name, could not only spontaneous self-assemble from the frog's skin, but also exhibit diverse behavior while swimming through a liquid. Anthrobots. Now, the problem here is that for most biologists whose life work it is to study these cells, this isn't news of any sort. The cells of amphibians are known to clump together and even regenerate body parts when damaged, like lizards losing their tails. Similarly, when Levin and his team used human lung tissue to make what they were calling Anthrobots in 2024, biologists weren't surprised since they had been using the same clumps of cells called organoids to study lung function since 2010. The difference here is that while the biologists have been doing everything in their power to immobilize these organoids or Anthrobots so that they can be studied, Levin and his team wanted to see what they could do on their own. According to Levin and his team, these Anthrobots, which are about 30 to 500 micrometers in size, are made from cells from the human trachea and can move on their own. In an attempt to describe these tiny robots better, they're ciliated clumps of cells. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Ciliated clumps of cells, meaning they have tiny fibers on them that help them move, and they do so by beating these tiny fibers in a single direction. Excuse me. The tiny fibers originate in the human trachea and are what we usually use to move phlegm out from our lungs and into our mouths so we can spit it out. Wow. Okay. Let's join the club, right? Okay, hope we've cleared out those tiny fibers and have them all moving in the other direction. While our tracheas are hollow in the middle of the cilia, or fibers pointing inward, like in early versions of organoids, Anthrobots are spherical with the fibers pointing outwards. So what can they do? So the question that begs to be asked here is, what can these biological fiber-covered robots accomplish that makes them worthy of being called a new type of organism? Quite a lot, according to Levin and his team of researchers. To quote him, and I do quote, "What's never been shown before is the effect these things have on other cells," close quote. Ooh, all right. So we're at the molecular level here, folks, okay? So we're talking nano. technology, molecular, nano. If we go below that to the atomic level, we're on the pico scale. And if we go below that one more to the subatomic level, folks, we are at the femto scale, FEMTO. Remember these. As you see, they're going to be very important in the next decade. I've been saying this for a hot minute now. Here we go. Then he goes on to explain how the Anthrobots have a healing effect on the human tissue that has been damaged. This was demonstrated by letting the Anthrobots loose over a layer of human neurons in a petri dish that had been damaged by a scratch. The result was that the Anthrobots encouraged the neurons in the damaged area to grow back without any mechanical intervention. Mechanical intervention here refers to the possibility that this healing effect takes place because the organoids were effectively bridging the gap between the neurons. This alternative theory was dismissed when an inert polysaccharide gel was used instead of the Anthrobots, with no healing taking place whatsoever. What this means is that there is some kind of communication taking place between the Anthrobots and the neurons that they are encouraging to heal themselves. Fascinating as that may sound, the team of researchers doesn't claim to know exactly what's going on. To quote one of the lead researchers, Gizman Gumaskaya, quote, "We don't know the mechanism, and that's one of the things we're trying to figure out," close quote. She then goes on to explain that what they do know about the process is that it's not merely mechanical. Gizm, that's a female name. All right. Uh-oh. Not where I want to go. There we go. Just the tip of the iceberg. In conclusion, Gizm Gumaskaya believes that what they have achieved so far is just the tip of the proverbial iceberg, and she might be right. Call them anthrobots or organoids or anything for that matter. If they can encourage damaged cells to heal, that's a world of possibilities opening up. From everything from neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis or even irreversible retina damage, the applications could be endless. And while there are always going to be naysayers and people who believe that researching clumps of cells is a giant waste of time, a ray of hope for people with debilitating diseases and disabilities is always a good thing, even if it's in the form of ciliated clumps of cells that can swim around in a petri dish. Bingo. There we go. All right, let's see. What else did I have pulled up? Oh, here we go with this one. And right behind disabilities. Did y'all get y'all's bus tickets? Y'all be sure and get y'all's bus tickets. Bus tickets. Y'all need bus tickets? I got bus tickets. Let's take a trip. There you go. You got it. AI uncovers thousands of potential psychedelic compounds. And folks, when I told you that legislatures in Congress are not going to be able to keep up with AI, okay? Yeah. Here we go. Again, this is by our old buddy Nigel. I told you he's very prolific and he covers such a wide range of topics. This is from May 20th, 2025. With AlphaFold, the machine learning is in the mix. We're entering an era of precision exploration where the next breakthrough treatment might be born in code, not in a beaker or a round bottom flask. Let's go, folks. It's not every day that artificial intelligence stumbles into a psychedelic trip, but here we are. In a surprising twist of machine learning meets molecular chemistry, researchers have used DeepMind's AlphaFold, originally built to protect protein structures to identify thousands of potential psychedelic compounds. Yes, you read that right. What started off as a breakthrough in decoding biology's 3D puzzles has now become a treasure hunt for previously undiscovered psychedelic compounds that could possibly reshape how we treat mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, and PTSD. And unlike traditional trial and error drug discovery, this one happened inside a computer in a fraction of the time. The molecules may still need lab validation, but the message is clear. Artificial intelligence isn't just writing poems and designing images, it's helping scientists rewrite the future of medicine molecule by molecule. AlphaFold in the art of molecular matchmaking. DeepMind's AlphaFold has already made headlines for solving one of biology's oldest puzzles: how proteins fold. These complex shapes matter because they determine how proteins interact with everything, including potential drugs. Now, that same AI is being used to explore thousands of different molecules might engage with the brain's receptors, especially those involved in mood, cognition, and perception. Researchers have zeroed in on targets that psychedelics like psilocybin or LSD, lysergic diethylamide acid, typically activate, like serotonin receptors, for example. However, instead of mixing chemicals in a lab, they ran molecular simulations at scale, screening compounds virtually and flagging those that look like they might bind in promising ways. This isn't guesswork, it's high resolution, AI assisted modeling that points directly to which compounds are worth pursuing in the real world. What makes this so game changing is speed. Traditionally, and that's no pun intended, traditional drug discovery might take years to just to find one viable candidate. Here, AlphaFold helped scientists map out a virtual universe of chemical possibilities in a matter of weeks. And many of the hits weren't just theoretical. They resembled known psychedelics in function, but with chemical tweaks that could improve safety, stability, or legality. In other words, artificial intelligence isn't just copying nature, it's remixing it. That opens the door to new treatments for depression, trauma, and anxiety that retain the therapeutic benefits of psychedelics without their legal baggage or unpredictable effects. For the pharmaceutical industry, it's a gold mine. For patients, it might be the first real shot at a breakthrough mental health care in decades. Are we on the edge of an AI powered psychedelic revolution? The term psychedelic revolution used to conjure images of tie dye shirts and free love. I remember those days. Today, it's starting to look more like a server rack and a lab coat, while psilocybin and MDMA inch toward medical legitimacy and clinical trials. Oh man, that was my mantra back in the dance days, because we called MDMA wig because we like wigged out on it. So I always walked around and said, "Man, I need a wig IV. If I only had a wig IV, I'd be cool. 'Cause I'd always be on the MDA in the mood for love." AI has opened up an entirely new path forward, one that doesn't rely on rediscovering old drugs, but inventing new ones altogether. And not just a handful. We're talking tens of thousands of novel compounds that could, in theory, offer the same therapeutic punch without the unpredictable trips, stigma, or logistical hurdles. Many of these are functional analogs, meaning they mimic the desired brain activity while sidestepping the visuals, the highs, and possibly even the regulatory headaches. It's a psychedelic revolution, minus the baggage, with algorithms leading the charge, not chemists with Bunsen burners. Of course, we're not there yet. None of these molecules has passed human trials. Most haven't even been synthesized in a lab, but the scale and speed at which they were discovered changed everything. In the old model, drug discovery was like fishing in the ocean with the fishing line and a hook. Now it's like scanning the whole sea with a sonar, tagging the most promising fish and zapping them with all the lasers at the same time. That doesn't mean every catch is a keeper, but the odds just improve dramatically. And even and if even a few of those molecules translate into safe, scalable treatments, AI won't just be revolutionizing drug discovery, it'll be revolutionizing how we understand and heal the mind. Deep learning to deep healing. The psychedelic compounds discovered by AI aren't ready for pharmacy shelves, but they mark something big, a turning point in how we approach mental health. Until now, drug discovery meant slow progress, high cost, and a whole lot of luck. With AlphaFold and machine learning in the mix, we're entering an era of precision exploration where the next breakthrough treatment might be born in code, not in a beaker or a round bottom flask. While it's still early days with theoretical compounds and a long clinical journey ahead, the sheer scale of discovery is an example of AI growing from merely automating tasks to expanding human possibility. This isn't even about folding proteins anymore. We're unfolding entirely new frontiers in science, therapy, and consciousness. If that's not a trip worth taking, we don't know what is. There you go. Let's see what else I got on the horizon over here. Oh, yeah. It's going to be an interesting show, isn't it? All right, we're going to move on to the next article. And I've got I still have videos I want to show you guys, too. So here we go. Man, machine, or man plus machine, a future of synthesis. Again, this is by our old buddy Nigel. I think I might have to reach out to this guy and get him on the show and just pick his mind. This is from November 21st, 2022. So roughly 2.5 years ago. So it is dated, of course, but let's see how far we've come in 2.5 years, if at all. I haven't read this. In the age of transhumanism, Nigel Pereira contemplates a tomorrow that welds man with machine. Here we go. Let's get his opinion. Imagine walking up to a cashier supermarket, and instead of a credit card or your phone, you just hold your bare hand up to the card reader and the payment goes through. Would would cause quite a reaction, right? Well, that's exactly what life is like for Patrick Paulman, who has a contactless payment microchip injected under the skin of his hand. The chip is manufactured by a British Polish firm called Walletmore, founded by Wojciech Peproda, and is the size of a grain of rice. It features a tiny microchip and antenna that are encased in a substance known as biopolymer, a natural source polymer that occurs in living organisms. Biohacking. It all started in 1998 when the first RFID chip was implanted into a human arm. That arm belonging to Kevin Warwick, a professor of cybernetics at Reading University in the United Kingdom. The goal was for doors and cabinets to open automatically for him, as well as for the computer to recognize him when he enters a room and welcome him with a greeting, as well as a message regarding how many emails he has. It is also rumored that he used the chip to chill his wine and draw a hot bath. While this all sounds like stuff our phones can do in 2022, this was a major milestone with regard to microchipping humans. RFID stands for radio frequency identification, and RFID chips are still quite relevant today with organizations like Impinj manufacturing RAIN RFID tag chips that can be used to track everything from machines to food to people and even pharmaceuticals. People who implant these chips in their bodies, however, are being called biohackers, like the aforementioned Patrick Paulman, who now has 32 implants in total. including chips to open doors as well as magnets. Similarly, TikTok star Burgundy Waller posts videos of herself moving through her house, causing doors to open, windows to close, and even switching on and off appliances with the wave of her chipped hand. While IoT, or Internet of Things, refers to a network of physical objects embedded with sensors like your smart TV, your smart fridge, or maybe even your vacuum cleaner, the IOB, or Internet of Bodies, is a term for the network of devices injected or implanted in the human body. I'm going to repeat that. The IOB, or Internet of Bodies, is the term for the network of devices injected or implanted in the human body. Remember what scale we're talking about here, folks. We're all on the nano and the pico and the femto, right? The molecular, the atomic, and the subatomic. To be fair, biohacking isn't all about embedding microchips in the human body, and there are some who believe simple meditation and intermittent fasting are forms of biohacking. With regards to technology, however, there are three categories of Internet of Body devices, including body internal, body external, and body embedded. Body external devices include wearables like smartwatches, blue light blocking glasses, Fitbit trackers, and neurofeedback, while body internal devices include pacemakers, cochlear implants, and digital pills. Digital pills, or smart pills, are edible Internet of Body devices that, once swallowed, can be used to gain insight in the inner workings of the human body by collecting data from your internal organs. Other examples of Internet of Body devices include Wi-Fi powered pacemakers, smart lenses, smart inhalers, and smart insulin pumps. The body embedded category refers to a futuristic scenario in which human bodies will be perfectly merged with an external electronic devices while maintaining a real-time remote connection. Are we there yet? Look at Cube. Are we there yet? Brain implants. Where were we 2.5 years ago? There's a picture of Elon in the Neuralink future. In our previous post on the killer VR headset, we briefly mentioned Elon Musk's Neuralink and the brain-computer interface, BCI, that would allow you to control a phone or computer anywhere you go. Musk claims that the goals of Neuralink are to use AI-powered brain chips to solve problems like autism and schizophrenia. This will hypothetically be achieved by implanting a chip in the human brain in order to record and stimulate brain activity. Neuralink has already tested the implant on a monkey and showed in a video that the implant not only allows the monkey to control a desktop cursor, but also play a game of Pong. Elon Musk isn't the only one working on brain computers, and it looks like one of his competitors has beaten him to the FDA trial stage of a brain-to-computer implant. Synchron Incorporated is based in New York and has already received FDA approval to test its implants on humans. Aimed at treating conditions like paralysis, Synchron works by embedding a device called a stentrode that is smaller than a matchstick and goes directly into the brain of the patient to help them move digital objects with their thoughts. Stentrode doesn't require brain surgery, however, and is injected through a blood vessel at the base of the neck. Wow. Okay. Cybernetic piercings. Okay. Let's get down with cybernetic piercings. While the thought of injecting microchips into the body might make a lot of people squeamish, an EU fact-check post has reported that over 6,000 people in Sweden have already voluntarily been chipped. While a lot of people rightfully argue that cyborgs already live among us in the form of people with pacemakers and 3D printed hips, there are now and now there is a piercing shop in Lansing, Michigan called Flesh that offers implants with RFID and NFC technology for around 200 apiece. If you count the number of people in the world who already have decorative piercings, that's a lot of people who aren't squeamish about putting metal things through their skin. There you go. Cybernetic piercings. New one on me. And what else did I have? Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. Y'all ready for this? This was pretty cool. Again, by our friend Nigel, and this is from last year, July 18th, 2024. Could the future of communication be holographic? I'm sure everybody remembers Star Wars and the Princess Leia, so we'll get into that. With most of us already addicted to the 2D screens in our pockets, holographic communication could be the deep end of technology pool that we actually lose ourselves in. If you were born in the 80s, the most iconic holographic message you have ever seen is without a doubt Princess Leia's message to Luke, Obi-Wan, and C-3PO in Star Wars. If you watched that movie and thought, one day such a thing could actually happen, the day has come and the thing has happened. Holographs are real as holographic version of the late Tupac Shakur, who surprised a packed audience at the Coachella concert by coming out on stage and performing beside Snoop Dogg. If for some reason you're picturing a 3D movie, that is not a hologram. Unlike a 3D movie or image, a hologram does not need 3D glasses or any special equipment to be viewed. Holograms versus 3D. Interestingly, in a 3D movie, it's the 3D glasses that polarize light from two different projectors, and your brain does the rest. To elaborate, every 3D image consists of two separate images, one for the left eye and one for the right. In a movie, there are two separate projectors, and one of the lenses of 3D glasses will polarize the light from one, while the other will polarize light from the other. Then your brain merges these two images into your head and make you think that what you're watching is three-dimensional. Since it's two separate recordings and not an actual three-dimensional hologram, the viewing angle will never change, irrespective of where you are standing. Instead, the image will stretch and contort to offer the same viewing angle. That's probably why a lot of people love 3D movies, and a lot of people hate them too. It all depends on how close or far you sit from the screen. A hologram, on the other hand, is an actual three-dimensional image formed by the interface of light beams, typically a laser, that can be viewed from any angle. While holograms have been around since the 1950s, holographic messages like Princess Leia's in Star Wars, or even the late Tupac's performance at Coachella, are pre-recorded and then played back. Holographic communications in real time, however, is on another level altogether and requires way more juice in terms of technology, processing power, and latency. Latency is your lag. So when it buffers and it's slow, that's your latency. That's what that means. Holographic communication in real time. Luckily for us, however, we live in an age of AI algorithms, big data technologies, advanced sensors, edge computing, 5G networks, and holographic three-dimensional gaming engines. While holographic communication in real time requires all the aforementioned technologies to have a chance at replacing our two-dimensional Zoom meetings. It's the 5G networks and the millisecond latency they provide that is making it possible. According to an L&T article, full-size holograms require more data than today's 4G networks can typically transmit. It then goes on to explain how older networks are mostly to blame for this technology not being accessible earlier. 5G networks plus the ability of AI algorithms to adjust images based on our user data and behavior are both key factors contributing to this turning point in telecommunication technology. AI also helps make the experience immersive, interactive, and always improving, which is another key factor. Several big players are already running holographic communications in the trial and incubation stages on 5G networks. Ericsson Holographic Communication claims to already be up and running as their website states holographic communication runs live on a 5G SA network today. Their solution includes LiDAR and specially developed AR glasses, very different from three-dimensional glasses, to produce a live three-dimensional holographic communicational stream or a 3D video call, as they are calling it. Cisco is another organization that is running holographic communications in the trial stages. Their product is called WebEx Hologram and has already been rolled out to several select customers. The future of telecommunications. While there certainly is a cool and interesting factor to be able to communicate via three-dimensional hologram, many people, like the makers of the Humane AI pen, who we mentioned in a previous post, feel like less is often more when it comes to a visual or sensory overload. With most of us already addicted to the two-dimensional screens in our pockets, holographic communication could be the deep end of technology pool that we actually lose ourselves in. In conclusion, an interesting quote on the Ericsson website reads, "Soon, every human sense will be digitally transformed, enabling fully immersive experiences that will change how we interact and communicate forever." Folks, okay, did you hear that? Soon, every human sense will be digitally transformed, enabling fully immersive experiences that will change how we interact and communicate forever. That is a quote from the Ericsson website. This is what I said when I tried to introduce you to these technologies beyond nanotechnology, because you already know they've been using that for a decade, if not longer, right? Okay, well, there's pico and femto, which to the day they don't admit exists, but you know it did, because was probably, my opinion, allegedly, this is not legal, medical, or financial advice, for entertainment purposes only. I'm pulling your leg. It was probably full of some bots that theoretically don't exist because they're futuristic scientific science fiction technology, right? But again, there's a patent for femto technology, so I don't know. You do the math. I did. Didn't quite work out. Yeah. So, um, you know, when I said that, all those poor folks out there, you're just going to seamlessly get taken into a digital transformation where you'll own nothing, you'll be happy, you'll live the best life you've ever lived. And they'll just take you right out of society. And they'll own you. Nobody listened, did they? So, yeah, that's where we're at with that. All right. And I hope I scared the pants off of you. Kidding. All right. Oh, yeah. Let me get over here. quickly, let me dive into the store. Oh, over there. Oh, let's hit the home page. Here you go. Here's the Fearless Floyd Show.com homepage. And as you see, I've been busy boy working all weekend, working on the website, working on the store. So there you go. Yep. This is still going on, folks. Still going on. I'm going to give away some merch here in a minute. So let's get ready for that. But anyway, here's the website. You can go there and you can go up here to the stove. Let's run up to the stove, Floyd. So I cleaned this up a little bit for you guys. And most of you should know all this by now. But if you need a tailor-made trust, there's a tab just for that. Memorial Day sale, books, consultations, blah, 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 blah. Go over there and take a little run through. I'm not quite complete yet. So if it has the word description on it, means that one's complete. And as you see, you'll see some that don't, like that one. That one's not complete. That one's not complete. That one's not. That one's not. That one is. That one is. That one's not. That one's not. So I have a handful to do. Not very many. But when you click on the description there, it'll tell you everything about it. Oh yeah, I haven't done anything for this one. That was definitely the last one. There you go. Special needs trust. Yeah, I got some special needs. Anyway, this breaks it down for you. Tells you everything you need to know exactly. What is a special needs trust, and tells you all the good stuff. So y'all go check those out if y'all want. That's the Fearless Floyd Show store. So go check that out. And oh yeah, let me go over here for you guys. I want to give you a quick Venezuelan update. Venezuela, Bolivar. I know you heard it. Oh yeah, I gotta go over here. We're on the old watch later list. So right here, Guyana issues warning ahead of election organized by who? What? How the hell does that work, Floyd?
Venezuelans are heading to the polls on Sunday to elect governors and lawmakers, but this is also an election targeting its neighbor, Guyana. One newly created governorship would purportedly manage the Essequibo, a region rich in mineral resources which has long been contested between the two countries. Guyana has administered the region for more than a century. Most importantly, the Essequibo region is close to massive offshore oil deposits, which are predicted to generate more than $10 billion annually for the government, according to USAID. Venezuela's election does not mean it will rule over the territory, but it is the latest step from the government of Nicolas Maduro in a decades-long dispute, which ignores rulings from the UN's top court. Any actual governing of Essequibo from Venezuela would take much more than a vote. Guyana has reacted strongly to the elections, saying that any Venezuelans who participate from Guyana risk being arrested and charged with treason.
There's that treason word again. Yeeks. Guyana. What's up with Guyana, Floyd? Well, once upon a time, I was at the GRB and I was an audio engineer. That means that guy sitting in front of that big board that controls all the sound. And while I was doing that, and so I had to go mic up all the host and everybody who was on the different panels. Put the little mobile mic on them. Got to meet the president of ExxonMobil for Guyana. So I got to meet some movers and shakers from that country on that little thing. That was a good one. I met some people from Africa, some great people from Africa, actually. They're just such fun, joyous people, except when they want to kill you. Uh, so yeah, I just want to give you that little update. Hey, there's some stuff going down. So pay attention to Venezuela. Pay attention to what Trump does and how he addresses Venezuela. I know that they're watch. I know he's working with the former opposition candidate to Maduro, who couldn't run and had to go into hiding, and then they had to put up that other guy Gonzalez, who, you know, he uh, he wasn't the guy. I mean, he's a politician, but president, nah, he just wasn't the guy. Kind of like Tim Walsh, they put him up. Here's your VP. He's like, that guy? No, really? Y'all chose that guy? What were y'all thinking? They weren't. They should have chose that other guy named Mike, that was married to a former president. And everybody's finding out. Oh, so as you know, as we've been talking about Anne LaFleur, right? Okay, Anne's French, right? She has dual citizenship, French and U.S. So she's over in the French Polynesian Islands near Tahiti, and she says, all of France, anybody who's French knows Macron's married to a man. Cat's out of the bag. So, hey, all you people still that refuse to believe that Obama married a man and that the kids are on loan, guess what? Yeah, y'all got. We all got. He got us. CIA got us. So I just want to throw that in there for you. So yeah, she hit me up with that today. He's like, yeah, Floyd, they're like, yeah. It's all coming out. All coming out. So let me get the next one up for you guys. Whoop. And I'm definitely not going to play this whole thing for you. I'm just going to play some little portions. Just turn you guys on because basically it just supports all the other videos that I've done. This is Rise of the Robots. This is a CNBC marathon, and that's from a year ago. A robot named Flippy runs the fry station at White Castle outside Chicago. White Castle says it plans to add 100 Flippies to its kitchens nationwide. Your fast food joint's really going to become a robotic fast food joint. SoftBank funded Zoom, formerly a robotic pizza startup, is now making compostable packaging out of agricultural waste, creating a closed loop system for customers. SoftBank, Stargate AI, Moshi. I think Moshiyama's his name, Moshiyama's son. If I remember correctly, the third part, Larry Ellison, Sam Altman, Moshiyama's son, I believe it is. Last name Sun, I know that for sure. Boston Dynamics has sparked the imaginations of the general public with its viral YouTube videos, but the company is now hoping to get the attention of paying customers. Initially, Boston Dynamics received a lot of its funding, from the U.S. military and that fondly known entity called DARPA. Later, the robot maker on a path to commercialization, the Boston Dynamics is finally getting there. CNBC got a rare look at Boston Dynamics' office in Massachusetts, where the team showed off two of the robots they are working on to commercialize Spot and Stretch. So, without having to play this video, you know who Spot, the Boston Dynamic dog, is. The San Francisco board of directors shot down the RoboDog being equipped with some type of accessory that could promote lethal force against a potential suspect. And Los Angeles just adopted the dog as a law enforcement patrol unit. All right, so let's go on to the next one.
In the year 2025, we stand on the threshold of a new era, an era in which intelligence is no longer an exclusively human gift. Companies across the globe, from the United States to China, are racing to create artificial minds that will not just assist humans, but exist as autonomous entities capable of thinking, feeling, and acting. At the very heart of this technological revolution is the company NVIDIA. The same NVIDIA that once made graphics cards for gamers is now developing the most powerful artificial intelligence chip for robots, a platform that, according to its developers, is intended to make machines smarter than humans. And this is not science fiction, it has already begun. This new chip bears the codename Project Helios. At its core is the Blackwell architecture, combining incredible computational power with minimal latency and embedded neural network models. It is not just a processor, it is a brain capable of analyzing situations in real time, learning, making decisions, and acting autonomously. NVIDIA is building the foundation for robots that can not only execute commands but think. This chip is intended for a new wave of humanoid robots, industrial automatons, autonomous drones, military platforms, and even home assistants. The learning speed of such systems is astounding. When connected to neural network cluster platforms such as DGX Cloud, the new chip allows a robot to learn in a matter of days what would take a human years to master. The robot does not merely memorize commands, it understands context, adapts to changes, and learns from mistakes. And this is not just theory. In NVIDIA's laboratories, prototypes of androids are already being tested, capable of driving cars, making coffee, conversing, cleaning homes, and even caring for elderly people, with empathy and adaptive behavior. But NVIDIA is not the only player in this field. Startups across China, especially in Shenzhen, are building their own humanoid prototypes using these chips: robot waiters, robot secretaries, robot police officers. The government is actively investing in the creation of a full-fledged robot society that will work, patrol the streets, and even teach children. In South Korea, Japan, and Germany, ultra-intelligent systems capable of collective decision-making are being developed. Robots connected in a network can jointly solve complex problems, distribute roles, and adapt to conditions. These are no longer individual machines, but digital collectives with the intelligence level of a team of specialists. Such systems are being tested in manufacturing, warehouses, logistics, and even in healthcare. And we are already witnessing how artificial intelligence in robots is beginning to change our daily lives. For example, in Japanese hospitals, nurse robots monitor patient conditions, regulate room climate, deliver medications, and can even perform basic diagnostics. At Tesla and BMW factories, robots independently manage production lines, detect malfunctions, and eliminate them without human involvement. In supermarkets across the United States, assistant robots patrol aisles, maintain order, assist customers, and even perform real-time demand analysis. Devices of a new generation are already appearing in homes, from vacuum cleaners that build three-dimensional maps of the space and plan cleaning based on the resident's lifestyle, to home assistants that can read fairy tales to children, care for pets, and remind elderly people to take their medication. And all this is possible thanks to embedded artificial intelligence chips that allow the device not just to function, but to think. But what does this mean for us, as humans? On one hand, it is a revolution. Intelligent robots can free humanity from routine and dangerous work. They can save lives by providing assistance in emergencies, extinguishing fires, conducting search operations, and performing surgeries with a precision beyond human capability. But this coin has a dark side. As robot intelligence grows, one pressing question arises. Where is the line between machine and consciousness? If an artificial intelligence chip can make better decisions than a human, who will be held responsible for those decisions? Who will control the actions of an autonomous army of robots if it begins to act independently? And what if these machines decide that humans are the source of chaos and instability? Moreover, the introduction of intelligent robots poses a colossal threat to the labor market. Even today, robots are displacing workers in warehouses, banks, and call centers. Tomorrow they might take the place of programmers, lawyers, even doctors. Millions of people could be left without jobs unless a global retraining program is implemented. There is also the threat of control. In some countries, artificial intelligence robots are already being used for total surveillance. Cameras with artificial facial recognition, patrol robots in cities that scan citizens, analyze their behavior, and eavesdrop on conversations. All this can turn into a digital concentration camp where a person is stripped of privacy and every action is judged by an algorithm. Nevertheless, humanity has no intention of stopping. NVIDIA has already announced that their next chip will feature quantum integration, enabling real-time artificial intelligence learning with multi-dimensional logic. Chinese corporations are working on a symbiosis of biological tissue and machines, cyborgs based on living neurons. And all this is expected within a 10-year horizon. Robots are becoming our companions, our workers, our conversational partners, and perhaps in the future, our friends or our enemies. The only question is whether we can build mutual trust with them, or whether we, as a species, will be replaced by a more efficient and impartial intelligence, one we created with our own hands. Everything we are witnessing today is only the beginning. Intelligent robots are still learning to walk, to speak, to feel. But very soon, they will begin to participate in the governance of cities, the economy, the military. They will fight for us, build our homes, cure diseases. But at the same time, they will become a mirror of our own intelligence, our decisions, our fears. The new chip from NVIDIA may become the spark that triggers a chain reaction, and we will no longer be able to stop it. But perhaps that is the very essence of progress, to move forward, to take risks, to change everything, and to believe that intelligence, even artificial, will serve the good. One way or another, the era of intelligent machines has begun, and it will never end. Even today, major corporations are testing fully automated factories. In China, such facilities are called dark factories, because there is not a single light on inside. There are only robots and no people. The control systems are artificial intelligence clusters powered by chips like those developed by NVIDIA. These systems have no vulnerability to fatigue, perceptual errors, or emotional burnout. They simply work, quickly, precisely, and without interruption. This leads to what is being called a reality divide. While one part of the world continues to operate under the traditional model of human work money, another part, connected to an artificial intelligence robotic infrastructure, will advance far beyond it. And people who are not integrated into this system will find themselves excluded from the new economy. The scenarios for the future are beginning to diverge. In one of them, robots become our allies, free us from routine, and help us realize our potential. And here, paradoxically, it does not depend on the NVIDIA chip, nor on Chinese innovations, nor even on global corporations. It depends on how we, the humans, use this power. Will we become wise architects of a new era, or will we create a rival capable of replacing us? Progress cannot be stopped, but it can be guided. And right now, at the moment when chips are becoming the brains of machines, when robots are acquiring intelligence close to our own, we must ask ourselves the most important question. What does it mean to be human in a world where machines think, feel, and act better than we do? There is no answer yet, but we still have time to find one.
Pretty eye-opening, right? Just imagine, and if you're a female, it's kind of one-sided video. I mean, I didn't see any Chippendale dancers or some good-looking male androids, right? All's fair, right? Love and war. All I saw was a bunch of young, beautiful robots. See where that's going, right? So now you see the assimilation. Just imagine. Just imagine if you got yourself a droid and, the one you got has technology where you can interchange from here up. So, you could get your ex-husband and your, ex-boyfriend and, you just swap them out and it's like, hey, take pictures of you and your ex. And he's like, what? That would be so screwed up. Or you could just pick your, like you go through, all the stars: Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie, Farrah Fawcett, Raquel Welch. I mean, just get a silicone, head that of, when they look their best in life. And I mean, uh, again, it's a strange world. It's getting stranger by the minute. Uh, NVIDIA, keep an eye on NVIDIA. Man, I don't know where they're going. I don't know what they're going to end up doing, but there's a lot of crazy stuff happening out there in the world. Let me go over some comments. I said I was going to give away some stuff. This is how it works when I give away merch. And I'm going to give away an ebook right here. And LaFleur's On Trusts. Okay. This has a revocable, irrevocable, foreign charitable remainder, express trust, college education, and land trust. Has all the instructions, templates, examples, everything you need for banking. You want to issue bonds, stocks, file a fee schedule, checkbook ledger. Yeah, all in this book. How we play the game. You can only enter one time per item, but you have to enter in my Telegram room. So if you're not familiar with my Telegram room, you're not over there as a member yet, you can go join and you can watch it. You can watch my membership shrink just like everybody else. Here's the link to go join. It's going to ask you to do a math problem if you're not a member yet. So I'm going to give you a little time to go do that math problem. So it's going to tell you, like, what's 3 plus 6? Well, 9. So you're going to type 9 in there. No, don't do that. Go over to your contacts and your groups and your channels that you're a member of over here in your Telegram. And you're going to see Rose or Shieldy because it's going to brand new. You're like, where did that come from? Okay. Click on that. Then you put in the solution 9. And then it'll automatically take you to the Fearless Floyd show. And you can enter to win this ebook, not this physical book, but the ebook. All right. So y'all get ready. I'll give you a code word. And this is the example, okay? This is not the code word. And it only works if you put it in the Telegram. Doesn't work if you put it over here in the comments. Doesn't work if you direct message me in Telegram. Doesn't work if you send it to me in an email. Doesn't work if you text it to me. Only works in Telegram. Why? Because I want everybody to be able to go there and see. And like, okay, hey, so-and-so won. So I have 20 viewers, and I'm going to put the book up right now. So this will be easy for you. Here's the code word. You need to post this word in my Telegram. And if you post this word in my Telegram, okay, and that word will be shadow. Okay. So I'm getting ready to post it over here in the comments. Second person that posts shadow over in my Telegram room, you're going to win Ann LaFleur's On Trust ebook. I'll get over there to you in a minute. Hello, Firecracker. Welcome to the show. Hi, Mary Jones. Oh, you went in the early 70s? Wow, you were doing the real deal stuff. I did the real deal stuff as well. Maybe AI can actually be of use to us. Elon Musk has been showing more info. Yeah, AI is going to be wonderful for humans. And it's going, like with everything, there's a good side, the bad side, pro or con. Okay. The bad side is kids are not going to learn anything except what they want to learn. Everything else they're going to ignore because they can just, hi, I need to know what so-and-so to read, or I need to read, tell me what Tale of Two Cities is about. So sit there and talk to them. They don't have to go read a book. They're just going to talk to them, tell them about it, give them the cliff notes. So we're going to have some generation, how that's going to work, because, uh, you know, all those after school jobs, the fast food joint, ice cream parlor, changing tires, whatever, that's all dead. That's all dead. Hello, Kathy. Yeah, nobody should panic. This isn't, we're nowhere near panic mode, but you should be aware. And I'm trying to tell everybody, listen, this is all part of, everything that I'm doing to express to you that, you're already a digital twin. There's already a digital twin of you. Okay. You, your family, your coworkers. All right. They've already done this. I'm sure that was the first thing they did through the apps. We need all the data on everybody who's watching our stuff, playing with our stuff, participating with our stuff, our friends' stuff. So they've already got the digital use. So what you're trying to do is you're not going to be able to eliminate your digital footprint, okay, that you've already let loose everywhere. But what you can do is put up a firewall and move in the public privately to where you're moving around, but nobody knows who you are, what you are, except when they can connect that. The only way they're going to be able to do that is through biometrics. So, do you own your own DNA? Do you have the rights to your own image? Have you done that yet? Because, again, if you don't have your image protected, somebody can just steal it and use it, right? Can I have a picture of you? Boom, just gave it away. That's how easy it is, folks. Wow, Kathy, you got a lot going on over here. Hello, Leo. Have you had any research done on that as far as medical, scientific? Because I know Dr. Group is working on that, and they believe that they have it. And you're saying ginger, curcumin, and ginseng? That's a good cleanse anyway. Yeah, you have to have a panel done for yourself, find out what you're depleted in. Yeah, I don't know if that does everything, but possibly. What's up, Buff? New journeys, new pathways, new types of travel accommodations. All right. 3 years of light ascension started way back in 2020. The frequency is risen the planet, and a lot of this robots will not function. Yeah, no, I've heard that it's all over the place as far as the ascension. Uh, people ascension, people gaining more enlightenment to the point where you start to disassociate yourself from people because of you just can't communicate. You don't even want to be around those people. It's intelligence level, awareness level, that kind of thing. You start seeing things, hearing things, that you become more acute. Um, There we go. I don't know why that's lagging. From 2025 to 2027, it's an intense. Our bodies are also changing from carbon to crystalline. I challenge you, Floyd, to look into it. Okay. That would not surprise me at all. With all the crap we've been consuming through our beverages, our food supply, air, water, soil. Yeah. They sold us on the whole plastic thing. It was cheaper, more economical. You could throw it away and, didn't have to wash dishes. Convenience will be the death knell of mankind. Convenience. I didn't want to get up and wipe my ass anymore. I had a robot do it for me. Convenience. The 144,000 spoken scripture here helping humans with okay, that's from the book of Enoch, Leo. The blackout here in the USA will be 24 hours like Europe. Solar flash gradually. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to roll my eyes, but I've heard days of darkness so often over the last 5 years that I don't even pay attention to it anymore. You know, I mean, could we have an EMP from a solar storm, solar flare that could disrupt the majority of worldwide electronics communications? Sure, that could happen. We have that capability as a government right now. All right, I'll look into some of this stuff. If I don't have anything on it in the next week or two, come hold me accountable. Absolutely, hold me accountable. All right. Let's see. Was there anything else I was going to cover? Let me go over and look. What else I had? I think I had another video, maybe. Stop. Oh, yeah. I do have some more. How did that get there? I don't know. It's not supposed to be there. Nope, that's not the one. I'm going to buzz through these real quick. Palmer Luckey wants to be Silicon Valley's war king. This is from Bloomberg Originals. For years, a Hawaiian shirt wearing, flip flop clad, smack talking entrepreneur has been promising to disrupt the U.S. defense industry. Now, Palmer Luckey, founder of autonomous weapons startup Anduril Industries Incorporated, appears to be doing it. On this episode of The Circuit, Bloomberg Originals host and executive producer Emily Chang met with Luckey to discuss the future of his ambitions in Silicon Valley and beyond. So if you get a chance to watch this, go check this out right here. It's worth it. I'm not going to play it.
This could be the factory of the future. Actually, this could be several factories of the future.
We have automotive parts manufactured in the morning and then aerospace parts manufactured in the afternoon.
This is called roboforming. It's a new way of shaping metal by using robots and artificial intelligence. Why do this?
We're still manufacturing things the same way we were making them 100 years ago. To make the next leap and keep up with the digital world, we need to accelerate the physical world. And that requires for manufacturing to go to the next level.
Right now, most metal manufacturing is sheet metal forming, basically stamping metal into a shape.
Sheet metal industry right now is a $250 billion industry. Most metal parts you see day to day are sheet metal parts. You're driving in a freeway in your car, you're basically sitting in a sea of sheet metal. Or you're sitting in an airplane. It's basically a sheet metal aluminum can. Even electronics, all sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal.
Sheet metal forming is fast and cheap, but there's a downside.
You have to build a factory to manufacture the parts, and most factories are very specifically built for the design you're trying to manufacture. It's not easily changed, it's very expensive.
The uniformity of our world is an artifact of the assembly line and the way we manufacture things. But this technology could create a world where custom manufacturing could be just as affordable and efficient.
I'm working on a product that allows you to design a new car and start manufacturing it today if you want.
Our scanning technology allows us to look at the part and form those without the need for stamping, the same agile way that craftsmen did it.
This is some serious metal.
Actually, it's heavy metal. No, I mean, it's really heavy. It's like 1/4 inch thick steel plate. Stick around to meet the robots that will build the future. This is Hard Reset, a series about rebuilding our world from scratch.
And again, I don't want to play the whole thing for you, but how you doing, Larry? Looking to Denso? Okay, I don't know what Denso is, but I'll definitely look into it. Hit me up. Like I said, hold me accountable if you don't hear from me on it. So I just want to touch on that to show you that every industry, every category is on the table. There's it's a wild, wild world out there. So let's go look at this, right? What? Hang on. Let's back that ass up. Google's new crazy realistic VEO3 AI video generator creates eerily lifelike scenes. Jaw-dropping viral footage posted online by Voices Studios shows what appears to be a real-life car show created entirely with Google AI video generator. VEO3, Google unveiled the new tech at its 2025 I/O Developer Conference, saying it, quote, excels from text and image prompting to real-world physics and accurate lip syncing, close quote. Well, let's go take a look at it, Floyd. This is from the New York Post. This is for entertainment purposes only. Fair use doctrine in effect.
Welcome to a non-existent car show. Let's see some opinions.
I mean, man, the acceleration is crazy. You look far, step on the pedal, and you are there.
I feel safe with him in an SUV, and it seems to be like the right type of car for him.
This ocean, it's a force, a wild, untamed might. And she commands your awe with every breaking light.
The microfilm is in your ticket.
They're watching the north exit. Use the service tunnel.
The visual quality is even better. Its understanding of physics is stronger. But here's the leap forward. VEO3 comes with native audio generation. That means that VEO3 can generate sound effects, background sounds, and dialogue. Now you prompt it, and your characters can speak. Here's a wise old owl and a nervous young badger in the forest. Take a listen.
They left behind a ball today. It bounced higher than I can jump.
What manner of magic is that?
Pretty cool, right? VO added not just the sounds of the forest, but also the dialogue. We're entering a new era of creation with combined audio and video generation that's incredibly realistic. The quality is so good.
Google has some new ways to search. The company showing the new methods off at its annual developers conference. Rich DeMuro was there and shows us what's new in today's Rich on Tech.
Google I/O is the company's annual event to show off its latest innovations for both the public and developers. This year, the focus was clear: AI in everything.
You don't have to move from Google to something else. You can just do all these things you like, and you can use Google to do that via their AI assistants.
First off, a new way to search Google called AI mode, and it's available for everyone now in the US. Instead of a bunch of blue links, Google's AI does the work for you, searching across various websites, products, maps, and real-time information to return a summarized answer.
You can ask a question, and all of that is used to help you answer it, regardless of whether anyone's ever written that on the web before or ever asked the question before.
You can get really specific and ask complex questions.
But the model can help figure it out, give you information, do research for you, construct a response, and still provide helpful links and ways to follow up from that question.
Just look for the new AI mode tab or button when you search.
And allows search to be able to do so much more than it could ever do before.
There's also another new search using your phone's camera. It's called Gemini Live. Previously, it's been on some Android phones. Now it's free across Android and iOS.
And just point to anything and have a conversation about what you're seeing. It's almost like giving vision to Gemini as your assistant. And it's really, really exciting.
Download the Gemini app, then point your phone's camera at anything and have a conversation about it with AI. Use it to explain what you're seeing, troubleshoot a device, or get help with shopping.
It solves problems that you didn't think technology could solve for you, but now can.
Google says it will soon make AI more personalized, with the ability for Gemini to pull from your search history and apps like Gmail.
We're always innovating in ways of making the user feel in control of the entire experience.
Beyond phones, Google is also bringing Gemini to cars, as well as the new XR headset and glasses. That's Rich on Tech. I'm Rich DeMuro.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate that segment. Y'all seeing where this is going, folks? It's they say it's a jungle out there. I guess it's a Android jungle. Let's see. Yeah. And then of course, let me run this out here. We've got about 12 minutes, if not a little bit more. So we'll just play this out and it'll pull up the next one.
Stargate, put that name down in your books because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure.
The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas, the Abilene location, which is our first location.
Abilene is a town on the western central plains of Texas. We kind of scratch and fight for everything good that comes our way.
I had people reaching out and they said, well, is the president going to come see you? And I said, well, he hasn't texted me yet. So
I'm thrilled we get to do this in the United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era.
Welcome to Abilene, Texas. This is the site of Project Stargate, a very mysterious, much talked about, much speculated about project that brings together OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle. If it all comes together, building after building on this red dirt behind me will be filled with chips that'll power the AI revolution.
What we're undergoing right now is sort of the largest infrastructure build in human history. It's going to create new ways of doing business, it's going to create new ways of invention, and it's going to really drive humanity forward.
I was in the real estate business. These buildings, these are big, beautiful buildings. They're going to employ a lot of people.
How do you personally grapple with the pace of it all?
It does feel like it's going very fast. Certainly think if I could like transport myself back 3 years ago, it would seem like unimaginable progress.
This is amazing, explosive growth of intelligence that's coming in our decade. Everything will change.
When Stargate was first announced, there was a lot of skepticism. A lot of people thought it's just too big to be true. So this is your very first look. Hello.
Hey, Emily.
Thank you so much for having us.
Welcome to Abilene.
It's so awesome to be here.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
I know.
How many people are on this site?
Today we have about 2,200 people on site.
The guy at the heart of the Stargate build in Abilene is Chase Lockmiller. He's the founder of Crusoe, the little-known data center startup overseeing this massive project.
We started construction here last June of 2024. This was just a complete barren field.
So
right?
there was nothing here in June?
There were a bunch of mesquite trees and bushes and brush.
Stargate is so mysterious. What actually is happening here?
What will eventually be here is 8 separate buildings,
Mhm.
all containing very large clusters of fully interconnected GPUs.
Yeah.
We're going to do a tour of some of that. This is going to get us around the whole 1,200 acre campus.
Hey, we're going on an adventure.
It's like getting around Jurassic Park.
I love that.
All right, let's go off-roading.
I feel like we're going on a data center safari.
It is much like a data center safari.
Crusoe's 8 planned buildings will hold up to 400,000 chips, which would make this one of the world's largest known compute clusters. The partners behind Stargate, OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank, have committed $100 billion to the project so far, and claim they're prepared to put in 5 times that as they expand to multiple sites. This first site in Abilene has been dubbed Project Ludicrous, as in
Ludicrous speed! Ludicrous speed.
which is appropriate. The whole thing is supposed to be done by mid-2026.
Are you round the clock, 24 hours a day?
We're round the clock. It is very much a 24/7 operation. We're trying to deliver on the fastest schedule that a 100 megawatt or greater data center has ever been built.
So why the ludicrous rush? Well, because Stargate is part of a much larger AI race. Companies like Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, and xAI are all building AI data centers of their own at sites across the US and beyond. Each company wants to have the most capable AI being used by the most people, and they've committed tens of billions of dollars to make it happen.
There's no reason we won't scale up our computing 100,000 times in a few years.
I'm good for my 80 billion. I'm going to spend $80 billion building out Azure.
The downside of being behind is that you're out of position for like the most important technology for the next 10 to 15 years.
But beyond just making better AI, many tech leaders want to be the first to create AGI, artificial general intelligence, a super smart agent that can think and learn just like a human, if not better. Large language models like ChatGPT have gotten more capable as the technology's evolved, so the hope is that adding an astronomical amount of compute will make them even more capable.
Take me back to the beginning before Stargate. What did you start seeing that made you realize we need more compute, more power, more connectivity, that you were hitting a limit and needed to scale?
We used to think a lot about the compute we would need to train the models. And what we didn't used to think about as much as how much people were going to use these models.
Mhm.
I mean, we did think about it. It just turned out people want to use the models much more than we imagined. And a couple of years ago, maybe after the launch of GPT-4 in ChatGPT, it really started to hit like, oh man, this is like gone from a lot of compute to like the biggest infrastructure project in history. And out of that emerged Stargate.
Why call it Stargate?
It began as a code name, and sometimes code names stick.
But it means something, right?
The design of one of the very early layouts of a data center looked a little bit like Stargate from the show.
How did you get to talking with Masayoshi Son and Larry Ellison, and how did you all come together?
I did 2 kind of long trips around the world, and a lot of it was to talk to developers and governments, but a lot of it was also to just really try to get my head around the supply chain. On one of those trips, I met with Masa, and we got to speaking about what it would take to do compute at this kind of scale.
Hi, Masa. It's so nice to see you. What conversations did you have with Sam that led to Stargate?
Well, we have a shared vision of AGI coming soon, and we need compute.
Of all the bets you could make, why this? Why Stargate?
Well, I believe in the vision that this AI, the AGI, will change the mankind's life in every aspect. And we are lucky to see this enormous revolution, and I'd like to be part of that. I get excited. Last month, I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me, oh, Masa, go for 200. Now I came back with 500.
Explain the math to us. How does it all add up to needing $500 billion?
Well, that covers the capacity we think we need for the next few years, given our growth projections. The interesting question is if we knew how to get $1 trillion right now, which we don't, would we be able to deploy that profitably in the next few years? And I'm not sure about that, but I feel confident we can make 500 billion of value back.
All right, so what are we seeing?
There's many forklifts, there's many cranes, there's many dump trucks, there's many excavators.
New creatures emerge at every turn. Are most of the workers from Abilene?
We're a very large employer here in Abilene, but we have brought in a lot of labor from outside the city and outside the state. We actually have workers from 7 different states. I've never built anything of this scale. It's one of the underappreciated aspects of AI is actually just the physical infrastructure that's needed.
This is awesome. I love
Building stuff.
Yes.
There's 155 vehicles that are moving dirt, moving earth right now.
There's something so satisfying about seeing lots of dirt being moved.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at that crane, like this red crane, that's a 600-ton crane.
I have no, how does that compare to other cranes?
It can lift a lot. It can lift a lot of weight. I mean, 600 ton, that's like 100 elephants, right?
This is actually happening around the world. Data centers are being built in Malaysia and Japan and France.
I think the demand for compute infrastructure, it's not a US phenomenon. It is a global phenomenon. A lot of countries have actually decided that data centers are critical infrastructure that must be accelerated.
So if hyperscalers are going to Malaysia or Japan, is that competition for you?
We don't really see it as competition. We kind of see it as just an overall growth of the sector. We think we have a lot of unique ways of doing it and a lot of value to add in the process. But pretty just excited by everything happening in the space.
Lockmiller's path to leading the Stargate build has been circuitous. He's climbed 5 of the so-called 7 summits, the tallest mountain on each continent, and worked in physics and finance.
Tell me about your journey before Crusoe. You grew up in Denver. You started out using AI as a trader on Wall Street.
Yeah, we were big early adopters of deep learning, using these multi-layer neural networks to predict returns for certain securities. We found them to be fairly effective. I had high conviction that AI was going to transform everything. It sort of always felt like this meta science.
Lockmiller eventually left finance to get into crypto. Not in the get-rich-quick hyping meme coins way, but in the hundreds of computers solving math problems way. His idea was to build Bitcoin mining operations near oil rigs, taking advantage of a quirk in the oil drilling process.
When an oil company drills for oil, one of the associated byproducts of that is natural gas. And when they don't have access to a pipeline, all of this associated gas is just being burned off on site. And so we had this concept that instead of trying to bring that gas to a market where you can sell it, we could bring a market to the gas. We could build these mobile and modular data centers and bring them directly to the wellhead and then use that power to power the data center.
It was a good idea with unfortunate timing.
The crypto market crashed. You then went from Bitcoin mining to AI. It almost sounds like going from one hype cycle to another.
Yeah, it may seem like that from the outside, but I'll say that from very early on, we had planned to build an AI infrastructure business.
So what do Bitcoin mining and AI data centers have in common?
Number one, they both consume a tremendous amount of energy. Number two, they're both more location agnostic than traditional data centers. Northern Virginia is largely perceived to be sort of the center of the world for data centers today.
That's data center 1.0, right?
That's data center 1.0.
Virginia's Data Center Alley is where the first generation of cloud computing was built, close to the government agencies that created the original internet. Those data centers are full of CPUs, basic computer chips that power everyday things like social media, streaming, and the cloud. Stargate, on the other hand, is part of a new era of data centers full of GPUs, the special advanced chips needed to power AI and do lots of tasks at once.
So this is the inside of a data center.
This is the inside of a data center under construction.
Okay.
They're going to be
Very active construction.
It is a very active construction site.
So you can take them through one of these.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
the hallway.
Okay.
People look like they were working very hard and fast.
People never love when I show up for data center business. No,
Why?
it's not my area of expertise, and yet I have opinions. And so people are like, okay, leave us alone.
So we are going to go to one of the GPU data halls where there will be a very large cluster of Blackwell GPUs.
Blackwell is the newest AI-optimized chip from NVIDIA. Once the 8 buildings of Project Ludicrous are complete, each of them will hold up to 50,000 chips to be installed by Stargate partner Oracle.
Wow.
This is where the GPUs will go.
This is where the GPUs are going. I've been waiting.
Got the bail going on 2 hours. Thank you for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this video with anybody who's disabled or might need some AI technology. And you know what to do. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Come visit me over at thefearlessfloydshow.com or Telegram. Y'all have a good weekend. Thank you for hanging around after the show. I want to present to you Tailor-Made Trust, featuring Ann LaFleur's Trust Series, available at tailormadetrust.com, as well as thefearlessfloydshow.com store. Here are a handful of the available trusts that can be built, custom tailored to your needs and desires. 25 different trusts, plus the DNA Trust Addendum. And as always, Ann LaFleur's classic trusts and ancillary classes, and also Ann's books on trust and specialty trust, which I also co-authored. If you'd like to get a class, a book, or have a trust custom built for you, always available at thefearlessfloydshow.com store. And I'll see you in the next show. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.